Hi, my name is Sylvia Gathoni. I go by the name Queenaro. What first got me into gaming was through the influence of my older brother and my cousin. They were huge gamers and they still are. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that they were playing video games and how immersed they got into those worlds. And since I used to follow them around, I started playing the same games that they would. Some of my earliest memories of playing Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Tomb Raider, just to mention a few. And later on, when my dad got us a PlayStation 2, I really got into fighting games like King of Fighters, like Tekken. I fell further in love with the Tomb Raider franchise because Lara Croft was like my superhero growing up. But the pivotal moment that informed my decision for me in pursuing a professional career as an esports athlete was the very first Mortal Kombat tournament I participated in undergrad when I was studying law at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. It was my first competition, and yes, there was a bunch of nerves, but I came in 4th place, and I decided that I'm going to try my hand at pursuing this full-time alongside my studies. I came up with the name Queenaro because of my love of the DC comics. I love reading comic books when I'm not playing video games, and my favorite character is Oliver Queen. He is the Green Arrow, and I took his last name Queen and his pseudonym as Arrow to come up with Queenaro. And I used to watch the Arrow TV series back when I was in high school, and I think that's also what fueled my love of him as a character. Yes, there's challenges trying to make a name for yourself in a very male-dominated field, and this is usually fueled by the idea that this is the preserve of men, not women should quote-unquote know their place. But I feel that video games are for everybody, and as long as you have the love for it, nothing should really stand in your way of you pursuing a career. And a lot of people have chalked my success up to me being my success as an esports athlete to me being a woman, while discounting the fact that I have had to work twice as hard as my male counterparts. And the only way that this is going to be an issue that's going to be properly resolved, not just for me, but for every minority in the gaming and esports scene, is that the majority demographic, men, need to actually acknowledge that there is a problem with how we treat women and other minorities in gaming and esports. Then from there, we'll actually have a more sustainable conversation regarding how we can now make this a more inclusive and safe space for everybody involved. So me being the first woman, I think the first East African to be signed to an American esports team, it actually made me feel seen, especially knowing that Africa is considered small fry in the grand scheme of the gaming and esports scene globally. We are marginalized in ways more than one, and now that the fact that an American esports scene wanted to try and help our grassroots gaming to flourish, and giving someone who wasn't even that good at the game to begin with a chance, that made me feel really good. It made me feel seen, as I said, and it made me even more determined to get better at this game, to show that their faith in me wasn't misplaced. The benefits to being part of a gaming community is that I've come to the skill set and skill level that I have at Tekken as a result of the people of goodwill in my community who are willing to help me get better, regardless of how long it took me to learn the intricacies of the game. And that kind of support means everything to me, because I am because they are, essentially. You know, that spirit of Ubuntu that informs who we are in Kenya and in Africa. And this is how we are going to grow our community at the end of the day. our love with the community, it continues to stoke our love and passion for the games that we play, and to know that we can definitely be better and we can be more than what we are currently. I think first of all, we as a community need to come up with structures that are cognizant of where we are and what we can do with the kind of resources that are at our feet. Essentially, we need to understand that imitating Western or Asian structures without actually understanding why their structures are as they are is definitely setting our community up for failure. We are not America, we are not Europe, we are not Asia. This is Africa, and understanding the condition that we are in is essential to us coming up with much more sustainable structures to begin with. This is the start of us coming up with becoming sovereign in terms of our gaming industry. The fact that we have to rely on the West or more developed countries to get to where we are, or to try and get the opportunities that you feel that will improve a lot in life, shows that we actually don't have any sovereignty over the resource of our gaming and esports scene, and that is very troubling to me, if I'm being honest. And I'm not going to say that I have all the answers, but I think the acknowledgement of this fact will be the start of actually us coming up with something that is truly for us and by us. I think it's a good, how I'm able to actually come up with a balance between Kenya School of Law and me being an esports athlete and just even my normal social life is I've learned the art of delegation, meaning that if I'm not able to actually focus my mind 100% on both of them, I give the load to maybe a manager or a trusted friend to handle maybe, like, let's say the business side of my career while I actually maybe focus on school. And it actually helps that I've actually finished my coursework and my pupillage. I'm just yet to finish my exams. And then at the end of the day, like right now it's not competition season, so it's actually given me a bit of a chance to actually focus a little bit more on my academic studies and other interests that I'm interested in. My biggest support, as I said, other than my brother and my cousin, I would have to say my parents, though I have fought with them severally over my decision to pursue a career. But at the end of the day, I think they just realized that whether they like it or not, I'm going to pursue it. And if I don't get that support from them, I will get that support elsewhere. And I think now, once I started getting a bunch of achievements, like me being put on the Forbes 30 under 30 list for what I've done as an esports athlete, and the publicity and everything that came with it, they kind of let me, they just kind of let me go, and they started to understand the vision. And now seeing that I'm somewhat able to support myself with what I'm doing, and the fact that I travel and I tell them all about what I've seen when I'm overseas, I think they find it fulfilling as well. Gaming doesn't exist in its own bubble. Gaming is influenced by a variety of social, economic, political, and historical aspects. And traditional careers have a role to play in the growth of the gaming industry in Kenya. And I feel that with my knowledge as a lawyer, I will be able to actually help in developing the structures and the policy that will be essential in driving Kenya and Africa forward in the esports field and on our own terms. And what I wrote in law school was me realizing that we don't really have many consumer protection laws in Kenya. And our constitution here in Kenya, Article 46 of the constitution, provides for consumer protection laws, and it also enabled Parliament to create laws that are cognizant to this fact. And I was like, fine, we have these laws in Kenya, and we have this gap in the gaming and esports scene. How can I put them together to actually create something that will protect the consumer at the end of the day? Because even if I'm an esports athlete, at the end of the day, I'm still playing a video game. I am a consumer of that game, and I need to be protected. So many other people need to be protected in that field. Honestly, with gaming, what makes me really happy is that with traveling, I get to meet a lot of people who've been really supportive of my career. I get to meet with my friends who live overseas. And I think that sense of community is what I treasure the most, because I know that I'm not really walking this path alone. And that's what actually helps me to become a better and a stronger esports athlete at the end of the day. And I think just gaming, when I'm not playing Tekken, I'm playing Assassin's Creed, Ghost of Tsushima, Baldur's Gate. I just love the immersion and the escapism it offers, because I'm just being the goofiest person at the end of the day. I'm just getting up to the funny shenanigans. And I do miss when I used to stream these games and just share them on Twitch with my community. And maybe that's something I will get back to once I feel more comfortable with it. Where I see myself in the next 5 years is, first of all, I do hope to have finished with my studies at the School of Law, and I'm admitted to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. The second thing is, in the next 5 years, I do hope to be a world-class Tekken player, one of the best in Africa and even globally. Like, I essentially show that, yeah, you guys really need to get on with the program. Kenya has a strong Tekken scene, and you need to acknowledge that. And I know with the Olympic esports games that are happening in Saudi Arabia in 2027, my goal is to qualify for the games if Tekken will be part of the lineup. And I do hope to be Kenya's first Olympic medalist in esports. I do think that's a very possible vision, as long as I work hard, I put in the work. And I know that will do a whole lot of good for our community at the end of the day. Then eventually being a Tekken World Tour finalist, again, that's going to be really, really affirming.
Yeah. So there's actually, I've learned that today, there's an Olympics for esports. Yeah,
the Saudis got came to an agreement with the International Olympic Committee, and though they were actually supposed to happen this year, but there's a lot that I know there's a lot of moving parts for the games to be successful, so they postponed it to 2027. But I hear the qualifiers will start as from this year. So once they announce the games and Tekken is part of the lineup, kazi kwangu. Okay, it's like traditional sports. So yeah. I do enjoy watching sports. I actually watch athletics with Faith Kipyegon, Eliud Kipchoge and the like. I do occasionally watch football, but I don't actually support any team before you ask. For me, I'm just there for the drama and the popcorn. If I had the chance, I would pursue a career in theatre arts, because I used to do that in primary school. I would be a pianist. I'm very good at playing piano and violin. Maybe traveling with these symphonics around the world or something, if that's something that would be in the cards. If not, I would be pursuing a career in diplomacy. I'm really into geopolitics, and I do think Kenya has a bullshit kind of foreign policy, so I think I'd actually be instrumental in actually having some common sense in that space.
Yeah. Do you think that has affected the esports or sports?
Oh, definitely. Like, as I said, esports does not exist in a bubble, and I'm actually seeing if I were to do a master. I'm just hypothesizing. If I was to do a master's, I'm actually now studying the links between gaming and geopolitics, because no one in the world has done that kind of study, and now I'm just like, this is an untapped field, and I think this is really important for people to know.